Sonic movie. What would I put in it? What wouldn't I put in it? Let's find out. Yo, I'm sick of writing these intros to these videos. You already know what a Sonic is. You clicked on this video, now just watch it. In the case of how I'd write Sonic 4, I'm gonna break it down into 4 separate parts. What games the movie should take inspiration from, a few notes on how I'd imagine a general plot to go down, what I want to see from the characters, and random miscellaneous stuff that I would want to see. Starting with game inspiration, which is an aspect of these movies that has grown more and more important as the franchise progresses. Seeing as how the second movie is a mixture of Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and the third movie was an abridged version of Sonic Adventure 2, it only makes sense to continue this trend. Now, since the 2 confirmed new characters we're going to be getting are Amy and Metal Sonic, I think there are 2 obvious picks. The first being Sonic Heores. Now, I don't know too much about Sonic Heores because I've never played it, since Sega are some bitch niggas who don't like re-releasing games, but what I do know is that Metal Sonic plays a very important role in that game as he is the final boss. In that game, he imprisons Eggman and collects Lifeform data from all the characters to reach his final form of Metal Overlord. He really takes over from Eggman's traditional role as the villain here. And considering that Eggman is dead? I mean, it's not the first time the nigga would have survived an explosion in space, so I don't know. It could be a way for the writers to not be restricted to having Eggman as the villain in all of these. Don't get me wrong, Jim Carrey is the GOAT, but this Metal Overlord design would look fire in the movie, so honestly I see it as a fair trade. Then of course you'd get to introduce Amy to the movie canon. And seeing as how from what I've seen, Sonic Heroes has a much more involved in the story than she usually is, it wouldn't take much to write a story for her around her role in that game. The other game I think should definitely be used as a reference is Sonic CD. It's the first game where both characters make their debut in fact. Metal Sonic captures Amy, Sonic rescues her on Stardust Speedway, and the fandom was never the same again. It only makes sense to include some nods to the game here and there. Maybe use some of Sonic CD's lore to explain how Amy knew Metal Sonic was going to attack regular Sonic in the post-credits scene. There's also the time travel aspect of the game, which would be nice to see if they can escape the very easy mistakes to make with a time travel plot, but I'll address that in a moment. Also, since I don't know when I will ever be able to talk about this game on my channel again, I just want to say that I fucking love Sonic CD. This is borderline my favorite of the classic games. That's why I'm using nothing but that soundtrack for the music in this video. If I hear that in a theater, on everything, I'm a bus. Pause! For the plot, I'm not going to go play by play what I would want Sonic 4 to be. I'm just going to go through some quick story beats that I think would be cool to see. First off, since I mentioned Eggman's supposed death earlier in this video, I think a clever way to explain how Metal Sonic was able to attack Sonic would be to have that as one of Eggman's backup plans to destroy Sonic in case he died. We can see some scene of Eggman from the previous 3 movies using the quill that he got from Sonic to create Metal Sonic as a secret project. Shit, maybe Agent Stone is the one who activates Metal Sonic and sends him to attack the main cast, because he would obviously blame Team Sonic for Eggman's death. I'm just thinking about it now, and Agent Stone being the mastermind villain of the 4th movie would be fucking hilarious. He's doing it for the dead homies like shit.
Ah! I just thought you might like a latte with steamed Austrian goat milk.
What do I look like, an imbecile? Of course I want a latte. I love the way you make them!
If we're talking about settings and places I want to see, I would love to see more actual Sonic settings in the movie. The second movie missed the best opportunity to have Angel Island be a setting. I'm still mad about that. But if we can see a young Seaside Hill, Ocean Palace, or a Stardust Speedway if you really want people to freak out, that'd be dope too. I definitely want to see them continue the trend of Sonic maturing throughout these movies too. It's not really at the forefront of the story, but if you watch all 3 movies back to back to back, you actually see this nigga go from being this hyper kid to someone who's learned from the people around him and learned how to be a better hero. This kind of leads me on to talking about the characters, and since I couldn't think of a better way of transitioning to this part of the video, I'm just gonna play the next song. The The thing I really don't want the fourth movie to fuck up is Amy and Sonic's relationship. Across the entire franchise, the two kind of have this will they, won't they thing going on, and it's usually for comedy. I get that. A lot of the interactions is either Amy being a simp or Sonic being an asshole to her, but if I were writing the fourth movie, I'd want the two to see each other more on a partner type basis. Like, I could already tell from the post-credits scene of Sonic 3 that she's not going to be the typical Amy Rose character, and I think that's cool. She gives off a very Princess Peach from the Mario movie type vibe. If Amy isn't gonna be the damsel in distress like Sonic CD, or the simp that she is in later iterations, I'd love to see it just be this dope hero that kinda competes with Sonic a little bit. I can easily see some kind of plotline where Sonic is kinda insecure that there's someone as good as him at the hero thing, but slowly learning to appreciate what Amy would add to Team Sonic. His rivalry with Metal is something I would focus on though. Apart from Shadow, Metal is the only character in the franchise who has matched Sonic's speed. Since he prides himself on being the fastest thing alive, having a rival to push him to his limits at every turn would be a great plot point and would make it way more satisfying once Metal is defeated. Knuckles and Tails don't need to do much in this movie, they've had most of their development in the second one. It would be kinda funny to see if Amy and Knuckles have the same funny interactions they did in Adventure 2. As for Shadow, I honestly don't need to see him come back so soon after the third movie. It would kinda take some of the weight away from his also assumed death, but I mean, who knows, we got the Knuckles show after the second movie. I would personally watch the shit out of a Shadow the Hedgehog series.
Gabriella should kill them both. She's not a prize to be won.
Kill this, murder that. You need to lighten up, Shadow.
As for the human characters, I honestly don't think I need to see much more of them here. There's this really interesting graph that I saw that shows how much time the human characters are given in the movies, and they've been on a consistent decrease in the franchise, and I can see the trend continuing.
And the obvious reason why is because when you add more of these fictional gamer gun characters into this World of Warcraft, a lot of the focus will be dragged onto them and less on the human characters because they're just not that important anymore.
I think the only time they'd be needed is when Sonic needs advice from Tom and Maddie, or for some light comic relief every now and then. What I don't want is 15 minutes of a wedding subplot like the second movie did. I'm not saying I don't want any of the human characters to show up, just only if necessary. Give me a Wade scene here and there and I'm chillin'. Lastly, there's some miscellaneous things that I would personally want to see. Stardust Speedway. I need to hear that song in full as Metal and Sonic have a cool ass fight. I know that this is incredibly wishful thinking and might probably never happen, but for some reason, I really want to see them use Dubious Depths. If you don't know, it was a scrapped zone from Sonic CD. And I don't know, man, I just think it would work. And if the writers can reference the Snapcube fan dubs, I don't see why they can't do this. And I'd also go for less pop culture references too. I get that they're meant for the parents to laugh at while the kid watches the funny blue hedgehog, but the movies have gained such a great reputation that the films can really stand on their own goodwill without needing to resort to any gimmicks like that, you know? And that's pretty much how I'd write Sonic 4. Sega, my email is on YouTube. Hit my line, please.